And joining me now is Senator Dianne Feinstein of California. She is the chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Senator Feinstein, good to see you. We're told that intelligence agencies are aware of other credible threats beyond the toothpaste threat. You've read the intelligence. What are you hearing?
Well, I've read the intelligence. I think the threat stream is credible. I think it's real. I think the Russians are very good at what they do, though. I think there's a blanket of security. The problem is that one of the groups figured the Emirate Kavkaz, which has been declared a terrorist organization by the United States, has made threats and is conceivably able of carrying out an attack. So you have to be careful. I think that the Russians have security forces, they have good intelligence, they know the Chechen area, the Dagestan area, the problems inherent in it, and the brutality of these groups in the way they will hit soft targets. So I think people going to the Olympics should be careful. I think they should watch their backs. I think they should stay out of crowds if they can. And that's just my personal advice.
If you had family members asking you if they thought it was worth it, what would you tell them? We've heard different things.
Yeah.
President Obama told me if people want to go to the Olympics, they should go to the Olympics. But your colleague from the House, Congressman Peter King, yesterday told Wolf Blitzer that it's not worth the risk. Let me play that bite.
I believe that Sochi is safe.
I would not go myself. I mean, if I were an athlete, that's one thing. But just as a spectator, I don't think it's worth the risk.
What do you think?
Well, if I had a son or a daughter performing in the Olympics, I would go. Now that I don't, I probably would not. Now, again, I've seen the threat stream, and I know the opposition, and the opposition is dogged. It is continuing. It is threatening. And hopefully arrests can be made and any attack can be stopped.
And just to be clear, these insurgent groups or terrorist groups, these are from the Caucasus. These are not al-Qaeda.
Well, they may have an al-Qaeda connection. I can't speak to that. I think there's more than one. The one I'm thinking of is from the Caucasus.
There was an arrest. There were arrests in Austria and France of what are called black widows. These are the widows of insurgents who have been killed in this fight. Some of the arrests, some of those women have now been reportedly released. Do you have any information about that?
No.
Was it bad intelligence or?
No, and I'm not going to comment on any arrests. So
okay.
Thank you.
In terms of the actual threat, we heard yesterday that airlines were being warned by the Department of Homeland Security, especially to be on the lookout for explosives that might be concealed in a toothpaste tube. Are there any other things, you said to avoid crowds, to watch your back, are there any other things that the public should be aware of?
Well, I think where you go and what you do is important. I think you'll see Russian security. It's not a bad idea to stand by where you can be protected. I have no doubt that there are tens of thousands of security people at Sochi, that the ramps and tracks for luge and bobsled are fenced off so people can't get into them. You begin to worry about the soft targets, buses, taxis, hotels, that kind of thing. But, this is the world we live in now. And it's just terrible that it's come to the Olympics. And I just hope things go well. I know our FBI has been cooperating with the Russians, and I understand have had a positive relationship, and I think that's all to the good.
I've been hearing about cooperation. It's improving to a degree, although I'm told the Russians are still not sharing that much when it comes to threats inside their own country. Are you confident about the degree of preparation that has been made by U.S. authorities when it comes to being nearby in case something bad does happen, being able to take Americans to safety, being able to rescue Olympic athletes and their families if need be?
I have not been briefed on that part, so I can't answer that part, but I can tell you, historically, We have always been very good in retrieving our people, in being able to get them out of very tough situations. I can remember times as far back as 1968 when there's a big manifestation in Paris, and my family happened to be there. Our airline, which happened to have been an American airline, got us out. And so, you know, if you travel American, I think it does have a benefit.
Putin, when asked about safety and security of the Olympics, said that he thought it was as safe as, and he named a bunch of places that had been hit by terrorists, including Boston, London, New York. Obviously, as you know, this is the world we live in now. But has also been pointed out, this is the first time that an Olympics is being held on the edge of an active war zone, essentially, in terms of the fight going on in the Caucasus. In retrospect, well, let's look forward. Would it be better for future Olympics to not be so close to this kind of insurgency? And in retrospect, was it a mistake to have the Olympics in Sochi?
Well, that's a very difficult question. I'm not going to say it was a mistake. Things may go very well. I'm just not going to say that. And I think the country is trying very hard to do what has to be done. The question is to know what has to be done. And that's based on intelligence, which is sometimes good and sometimes not so good. But I think they have to take the threat stream very credibly, and it is being taken credibly. Now, more than that, I don't know what I can tell you about it.
All right, Senator Dianne Feinstein, Chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. And of course, we are all hoping for the best.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jake.